Seth, how do you manage back-to-back nights? How do you deal with just the workload of a weekend like this?
I mean, you just got to take it one day at a time. And I know that's cliche, but I think the thing is, if you look at it and you try to manage your workload, so to speak, you're going to end up minimizing your output on both nights. And I think for me, the way I have always operated, and for better or worse, is I empty the tank. And I'm just going to leave it all out there. So night one, we got this tag match. I mean, it's the biggest tag match in the history of WrestleMania. And I got to leave it all out there, man, because I don't know any other way to do it. And then carry over to Sunday, and look, you're going to have 70,000 people.
Right.
I mean, the adrenaline is going to push you through. You'll deal with it on the other side, you know?
Obviously, you've been to the highest heights. I mean, you cashed in on WrestleMania and been to the top of a mountain. However, this is the first time where it's your first scheduled WrestleMania main event. So that means there's your face on every poster board, every media tour. There you are front and center for every single part of the bill to get today. How different does that feel? You got the moment, but this is now the lead up with the moment.
Yeah, the lead up's the big part, you know?
Yeah.
The lead up's because you're on the marquee, so you're responsible for the people in the stadium. And so you're responsible for the build to the match. You're responsible for really the biggest night in our industry, the biggest weekend, the biggest week. You know, this sets the table for everything that's to come. Obviously, it's kind of like an epilogue and a final chapter to the year, and then a beginning to the next year. So it's everything all rolled into one. And it's one thing to steal a main event, but it's a totally different animal to be in the mix, especially with these three guys, talking about Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, The Rock, and making this as big as it can possibly be. It's a totally different beast. The pressure is on another level. So it's a really different experience, but man, this is what I've been dreaming of my whole life.
Obviously, you're going to be defending your title come night two, but tonight, and here you are spending time with us on the day of the biggest tag team match that the sport has ever seen. But tonight is the unique one. Tonight is the main event that you already alluded to, which brings about the if I told you that question, because to many this is the you couldn't see it coming. Like if I had told you in October or November, just half a year ago, before day one happened with The Rock's pop, before the pivot what that happened with Cody, if I told you that it would be this would have been the night one main event, you would have said,
I would have called you crazy.
Right.
I probably would have laughed you out of the room, to be honest with you. We wouldn't even have been having a conversation. It'd been like a joke.
It's outrageous.
A bad punchline, right? Yeah, there's no way. I mean, you go back to January, to the Rumble, and you said it all the way back, even to November, October. Like it seems otherworldly. It seems like we're living in some alternate timeline. Like we just jumped universes, you know? It's really, really incredible and special.
I recently heard you discuss what's been going on and specifically what happened with the episode of Raw that we had in Chicago. And you gave a quote, you said that in your time at WWE, you think it may be the best episode of Monday Night Raw that you've ever been a part of. Now, nobody's not attached to the brand more than you are when it comes to Monday Night Raw. So for you to make that statement, but that speaks to the build to this WrestleMania.
Sure.
When you can make that statement, that maybe the best show that you've been a part of was just recently.
Yeah, well, what I felt like it spoke to actually was the fact that all of our assets were firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. So I approached an executive. It was right after the Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch in-ring promo, which to me was the best promo of Becky's life. It was the promo of her life. It was incredible, and it really set the stage for what is going to be a monumental women's championship match tonight as well. But I approached them, so the show wasn't even over yet. It was about 2 hours through the show, and it was the first time I'd ever felt this way. 12 years, I felt like something super special was happening for all 3 hours of the show.
Right.
And you couple that with new production elements being put into place that have really taken what we do and elevated it. And you take a creative process that's really finally kicking into gear and finding its stride, talent who are elevating themselves based on who they're in there with because it's the biggest time of year. And then you've got this red hot crowd in Chicago. And they've always been one of the best crowds for us, but they really took it to a new level. I mean, we had sold so many extra tickets to that, we had to minimize our set. So it was just everything was firing. And I said before the end of the show to this person, I said, look, I think this is the best Raw I've ever been a part of in 12 years.
Wow.
And I never had that feeling before.
Yeah.
Never in the previous, we've been a part of some incredible episodes.
Absolutely.
This season is special, man. This time is special. I think it's important to understand how special things are right now, because it's easy to look back in retrospect and be like, oh, that was a great time. But when you're in this moment, it's all we've got. We've only got this moment right now. So let's embrace that and enjoy it while we have it.
Hey, man, how's the knee? You get injured back in January. You got to have a little bit of doubt at some point along the path of WrestleMania.
Yep.
How you feeling right now?
It feels pretty good. I made a point to get out in some non-televised events and test it out. I wanted to know going into WrestleMania what I was dealing with. Felt confident going through those matches. They were tag team matches with Cody Rhodes, so it was a little bit of a lighter workload, but I wanted to know how the knee was going to be. I wanted to know what the MCL was going to feel like, the meniscus. And there are a couple of hiccups along the way, as there are. Any athlete will tell you the road to recovery is never a straight line. So, but I'm in a really good place coming into this weekend. I feel extremely confident that I'm going to be able to put on the performance that the people expect me to put on tonight and tomorrow. And we'll go from there. What the next steps are after WrestleMania, I don't know. But this is the big one. We got to get through it. There's no way I wasn't going to make it.
So much of the mainstream focus, obviously, with the mainstream media, the crossover stuff is on tonight, is on the tag team. But you have a huge one on Sunday night with Drew McIntyre. CM Punk's going to be hovering ringside. So for the sports fan out there, for somebody watching on ESPN, what puts the hook in the mouth as to why they should watch you on Sunday night defend this?
Oh, man. I mean, tonight, Saturday, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
It's going to be a spectacle for sure. You've got just these 4 alphas in the ring vying for supremacy in their own way. Tomorrow's going to be a different animal. Drew's an alpha, and we're going to be vying, for what I feel is the richest prize in our industry. But it's going to be a different ballgame. I mean, the athleticism will be at a different level. The intensity will be at a different level. Drew McIntyre is no joke. This dude is 6'4", 6'5". He's 260 pounds of solid muscle, but he can move. He can jump. He can fly. He can cruise. He can do it all. And my work speaks for itself. So I think we're going to go out there. If you look at all of our interactions in the past, we've never missed. I know he's going to bring the fight. I'm going to bring the fight. We also don't like each other very much, so it's going to be super physical, super intense, and both of us want to come out on top. It is as big of a heavyweight title fight as you will find in all of professional sports.
Seth, congratulations. Time and again, this is the weekend you over-deliver on.
Every
so
time.
We look forward to seeing you. Great work.
Thank you.
Okay.